Hey guys, it's Miss Berg again. I am actually going to be going over the chapter 4 review. We're just going to do the review, no test as of right now. I'm not going to do the chapter review, the mid-chapter review, because everything that we're going to do in the chapter review is in the mid-chapter review. So therefore, I don't want to overdo it with you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over some of them. There are going to be some that I'm going to be crossing out, but we are going to go over the chapter review together. I do want you to do this still. I want you to do it with me. And whatever ones that we don't do together in live Zooms, I want you to go ahead and do the rest for your homework for that day. And then just go ahead and watch my video on it, and then just upload it, upload pictures of that you have completed it and you did it with me along with my video. So that's how you do get these points for chapter 4 chapter review. All right, so I'm going to turn this around. All right, so here we will start. Omar is making a scale model of the Statue of Liberty for a report on New York City. The Statue of Liberty is 305 feet tall, measuring from the ground to the tip of the torch. If the model is 1/100th of the actual size of the Statue of Liberty, how tall is the model? So it says 1/100th of the actual size is the model. So the actual size was 305. So what they wanted you to do is to find the answer to this. What is 100th of this? Now 100th in decimal format would look like this. So when you are talking about 100th, you're not, it's not just a fraction bar, that's actually a division bar. So you're actually making this number smaller, because a model isn't going to be bigger than its actual thing. So therefore, in this case, to make this smaller, where would you start on 305? It is starting at the back. And then when you are going and making it smaller by 100, that is, look at your zeros, that is one place and actually two places. So 1 and 2. So therefore, your answer would be 3 5/5 feet. All right, to figure this out, it just says that they want you to indicate whether the product is correct or not. So in order to do this, this is where it starts. If you make it bigger by times it by 10, remember when you're making it bigger, you are moving your decimal this way. When you are making it smaller, you are moving it inward. So in this case, we're going to times it by just 10, which is just one place. So if I move it one place back, it should be 6 2/10, but it's saying it should be 62. So therefore, this is a no. Now it's saying if I take this and I make it bigger by a place, I should have 5 3/10. So let's see if this is a yes or a no statement. I'm going to move it over by one place, and this is a yes statement. Next, it says I'm going to take this and times it by 100. Now remember, that means going this way, not just one place, but two places, because remember, each place is worth 10. So two places is worth 100. So therefore, if I move it two places, it should come out to be 9, it says, which is a yes statement. Next, if I have this, it should say I'm going to be moving it. Now it's 1,000, so look at how many zeros. That means 3 places. So if I move this decimal 3 places, 1, 2, and 3, that would actually be 600, and it's saying that it should be 60, so this is a no statement. All right, Nicole is making 1,000 bows for people who donate to the library book sale. She needs a piece of ribbon that is 7,500 meters long for each bow. How many meters of ribbon does she need to make all the bows? So here we go. So this is how much she needs per bow, but she is going to be making 1,000. So in this case, it's saying to explain, how do you explain how to do this? Well, you are making it bigger. So remember, making it bigger means you are going to be moving it to the right. And then how many places are you moving it? Remember, 1,000 means not just one place, but actually 3 places. So here's the decimal. That's where it starts. Now we're going to be moving it to the right 3 places. 1, 2, and 3. So I need a placeholder. So therefore my answer should be 750 meters. Okay, next it says Fatima is shading this model to show 8 hundredths times 3. Shade the correct amount of boxes that will show this product. Fatima should shade how many groups of how many small squares, or how many total small squares? Well, then here it would be 3 groups of 8 squares. Remember, each one is worth 1/100th. So this one is saying 8 hundredths. But we're going to be doing that 3 times. So if you did that, 8. So this is one way you could do it. You could go ahead and do 8 here. Then you could go ahead and do another 8 here. Oops. Yeah. And sorry. And then you could have done one more row of 8. You didn't have to do it in order. So if you did that, 1, 2, and 3, that would be 3 times 8 is 24. So if you sat here and count these all out, that would have been 24 squares, which is also saying 24 out of 100. So that would be 24 hundredths. Okay. Next, on this, says Tenley is making a square frame for her painting. She is using 4 pieces of wood that are each 2 7/500 feet long. How much wood will Tenley use to make the frame? So she's doing 4 pieces and each one is 2 7/500. So this is per piece, but she has not just one, she has 4 pieces. So how many numbers are after the decimals here? Well, the decimal is right here. So therefore there's nothing here, but a total of 2. So therefore this is 2 places that we have to move it. And then we just multiply like normal. 5 times 4 is 20, carry your 2. Then 4 times 7 is 28, plus 2 is 30. Carry your 3. Then 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. And then how many decimal places do you move it in? Would be 2. So therefore your answer would just be 11 feet. Which problem will have 2 decimal places in the product? Mark all that apply. So that means it could be more than 1. So how many decimal places in the product? So we are going to be looking for ones that have a total of 2 decimal places for both numbers. So here there is none after the decimal. Here there are 2. So that one will have 2 decimal places in the product. So this is one of those. Here, this one just has 1 after the decimal and none. So 1 plus 0 is just 1. So that is not correct. Here, there is none after the decimal here. There is only 1. So that is not 2 again. So that's not going to work. Here there is 1 and then another 1. So that comes to a total of 2 decimal places. So this is one that should have been colored in. And then this says you would take this and move it no places. So 0 tenths. So you're going to move it nowhere. So does this have 2 decimal places in the product? 1 and 2. Yes, it does. So therefore, this is also a true statement. I am going to be crossing out number 7. We are going to go over here to 8. Sophia exchanged $1,000 for this South African currency, which is called a rand. The exchange rate is 7 and 15 hundredths rand to every $1. How many South African rand does Sophia get? And explain how you know. So in this case, the exchange is she gets 7 and 15 hundredths of a rand for every $1. But she's not just timesing it by $1, she's timesing it by $1,000. So in this case, in order to find the answer, I'm actually going to make this number bigger because I am timesing. And how many places bigger is you look at how many zeros, 1, 2, and 3 places larger. So I am going to move my decimal to the right 3 places, 1, 2, 3. So therefore, your answer should be 7,150 rand. All right, now it says Sophia spent 7,274,000 rand on her trip. She exchanged this rand that was left for US dollars. The exchange rate for that day was 1 rand would be 14 cents. So how much US dollars did Sophia get? All right, so in order to figure this out, you would have to first figure out she spent this on her trip from this. So in order to figure out how much she has left, you would have to subtract these 2. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract off these 2 to figure out how much she has left to exchange. So 0 minus 4, you can't do that. 10 minus 4 is 6. 4 minus 7, you can't do that. 14 minus 7 is 7. And 0, take away 2, you can't do that. So then 10 minus 2 is 8. So therefore, she only has 876 rand. So in order to do this, she only has this much to exchange, and she is, for each one of these, she's going to get 14 cents. So in order to figure this out, I could times 14 cents for each rand. So how many numbers are after the decimal? There is a total of 2, and now you just multiply like normal. 4 times 6 is 24 times carry your 2, then 4 times 7 is 28 plus 2 is 30, carry your 3. 4 times 8 is 32 plus 3 is 35. Then bring down your decimal. Sorry, not bring down your decimal, bring down your 0, cross out any remainders. Then you go over to the 1. The 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 7 is 7, and 1 times 8 is 8. And then if you want, you could bring down another one, but it's just going to be a row of zeros. So therefore, I'm going to stop right there and add this. This would be a 4, a 6, 12, carry your 1. That would be 12, bring it in 2 places. So therefore, she would get a total of $122.64 back from that. All right, next. Trevor is reading a book for a book report. Last week, he read 35 pages of the book. This week, he read 2 5/10 as many pages as he did last week. How many pages did he read this week? So last week he did 35 pages. This week he did 2 5/10 times as much as this. So in order to figure that out, I am going to multiply. How many numbers are after the decimal? There is only one. So then this one would be 25, carry your 2. And this is 15 plus 2 is 17. Then bring down your decimal, not bring down your decimal, bring down your 0, cross out any remainders. This would be 10, carry your 1. This is 6 plus 1 is 7. Then this would be a 5, 7, and 8, and we bring it in one decimal place because this is saying 87, and this means a half. So 87 and a half pages. Okay, next. Jonah drives his car to and from work. The total length of a trip from his work is 19 2/10 miles. In August, he worked 21 days. How many miles in all did he drive to and from work that month? All right, so therefore, to and from work is 19 2/10 miles. But he didn't just do it one day, he did it 21 days. So how many numbers are after the decimals here? The decimal would be in right here. So there's nothing behind this, but there's just one here. So we have to move it in once after we figure this out. That would be a 2, a 9, and a 1. Bring down your 0. Then 2 times 2 is 4. Then that would be 18, carry your 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. That would be a 2. That would be 13, carry your 1. This would be 10, carry your 1, and a 4, and bring it in one place. Your answer is 403 2/10 miles. Okay, next, it says use the numbers in the boxes to complete the number sentences. A number may be used more than once. So what they're really wanting you to do, they're saying it's 29 times 31. Well, there is no way it's going to have a decimal in there. So therefore, the one that makes sense here is 899. Now, this one is going to still be the same numbers. The only thing is you're going to be moving it in how many places. So this, there is no numbers after that decimal, but there is a total of 1 here. So that means you would just be moving it in once from the back. So if I move it in once from the back, I'm going to be getting 89 9/10. Here, I am going to be moving it a total of 2 decimal places from the back. So if I started here and I moved it in 2 decimal places, my answer would be 8 99 hundredths. Then here, I would just be moving it just once from the back. So then that one would be 89 9/10. All right, here we go. Next, Melinda, Zachary, and Heather went to the mall to shop for school supplies. Melinda spent $14.25 on her supplies. Zach spent $2.30 more than Melinda. And then Heather spent 2 times as much money as Zach spent. How much did Heather spend on school supplies? All right, so we have M for Melinda, Z for Zach, and H for Heather. Okay, so let's go through this one step at a time. So they went to the mall to shop for school supplies. Melinda spent $14.25. Okay, so she did $14.25. We know that. Next, Zach spent $2.30 more than Melinda. So that means taking Melinda and then doing only $2.30 more. So that means you're just going to be adding, you're not going to be multiplying there. Then Heather spent 2 times as much as Zach. So Heather was 2 times Zach. Well, we got to figure out what Zach's is before we can figure out what Heather's is. So in order to do this, I would have to add those decimals. Remember, when you add decimals, you must line up the decimals. So when you do this, bring down your decimal. That would be a 5, 6, and 1. So that would be $16.55 for Zach. So that means you would do 2 times $16.55 to figure out what Heather's is. So I'm going to do that up here. $16.55 times 2. That means I would move it in 2 places because there are 2 numbers after this decimal. So that would be 10, carry your 1. 10 plus 1 is 11, carry your 1. Then 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13, carry your 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And then you move it into places 1 and 2. So your answer is $33.10 is what Heather had spent. All right, next. We're getting there. We're almost done here. Okay, on this one, it says the cost of admission for Baytown Zoo is $10.50 for each senior citizen, $15.75 for each adult, and $8.25 for each child. So it says Part A, a family of 2 adults and 1 child plan on spending the day at Baytown Zoo. How much does admission for this family cost? Explain how you found the answer. So there were a couple of things you could have done here. First of all, it says 2 adults and then 1 child. So in order to do this, you could have said, okay, I gotta take 2 adults plus 1 kid is going to give me how much I got to pay. Well, remember, each adult is $15.75. But then you could say that's times 2, though. I have 2 adults plus the 1 kid. You could have said 1 kid, and each kid costs $8.25. So then you could go about figuring out what that is. 1 times $8.25 would be $8.25. And then we do $15.75 times 2. That means 2 places. To move it in, that would be 10. That would be 14 plus 1 is 15. Carry your 1. That would be 10 plus 1 is 11. Carry your 1. And then that would be 2 plus 1 is 3, and move it in 2 decimal places. So then this comes out to be $31.50. But then we have to add in our kids' ticket. So if you add on the kids' ticket, I'm just going to add it up underneath here. Make sure you line up your decimals. So that would be 5, 7, here's the decimal, 9, and 3. So that would mean that it would cost them $39.75 to get in. Okay, describe another way that you could have solved this problem. Well, the other thing that you could have solved, done here to figure that out, is you could have done $15.75 plus $15.75, because that would be 2 adults, and then plus 1 kid, which is $8.25, and then you could have added it that way. Could have done that as well. All right, then Part C. What if 2 more tickets for admission were purchased? If the 2 additional tickets cost a total of $16.50, determine what type of ticket the family purchases. Explain how you can determine the answer without calculating. All right, so they're saying that they only purchased 2 more tickets. So what is it possible that they did that? So if I did like 1 senior citizen and 1 adult, just by looking at the whole number here, that would be over $25. So that there's no way. If I did 2 of these, that would be over $20. If I did 2 of these, that would be $15. If I did 2 of these, oh, so 25 and 25, that's 50 cents, and 8 and 8 is 16. So therefore, the thing that only makes sense here is that they just purchased 2 children's tickets. All right, next. This one says at the tailor shop, it costs $6.79 to shorten a pair of pants and 4 times as much to mend a dress. Choose the answer that correctly completes the statement. It would cost Lisa blank to shorten 1 pair of pants and mend 1 dress. So remember, in order to shorten it costs $6.79. But then they also need to mend a dress. Now, in order to mend a dress, remember it is 4 times as much as this to mend 1 dress. So I would have to say $6.79 times 4. How many decimal places? That would be 2. This would be 36. Carry your 3. That would be 28 plus 3 is 31. Carry your 3. That would be 24 plus 3 is 27. And then you move it in 2 places. So your answer is $27.16 for that. But that is just to mend 1 dress. But we also have 1 pair of pants. So in order to do this, I would have to add up both of these. Make sure your decimal is lined up. Bring down your decimal. So then when you do this, that would be 15, carry your 1. That would be 9. This would be 13, carry your 1, and 3. So that would be $33.95. So it would be that one. All right, next one. Remember, this is your rows and your columns. So on your columns, that means you should have had 3/10. So in this case, you should have 1, 2, and 3. So that would have been 3 columns. And then this one is how many rows. Remember, this is to figure out how many would be overlapping and have 2 colors or make that different colors. So that would be 1 row, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in order to do that, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that would be a total of 15 hundredths. Okay. I am not going to be doing 16 here. Real quick on 17, I just wanted to know, how could estimation help you figure out this? All you would have to have said is that you could have just have looked at the whole number, which is the 3. Remember, what determines it is the one behind it. That 9 is going to tell that 3 to go up to a 4. And then this one, the whole number is a 5. What determines it is that 3. The 3 is going to tell that 5 to stay the same as a 5. So therefore 4 times 5 would be around 20. So your answer would be somewhere around 20. All right, real quick, on Saturday, so here, if you did this, that would be 28, and you move it in 2 places. So your answer would be 28 hundredths of a mile. And then real quick, I'm just gonna go over this real fast. If you did this, you should have, it says that the builder was 24 5/10 acres of land, and they are to use 2,500 of the land for a park. If you did that, that would be 6 125,000 acres. Here, it's saying that they would do 6,200 times as many acres. So if you did that and you multiplied the original times 6,200, that would have been this many acres. And then here, it would have been 3/10 of a mile from Keith's. Layla, what? 4/10 times as much. So that would be, if you multiply that, that would be 1,200. And then here, if you did this, you would have just have multiplied and it would have came out to be this. So that is how you do those. So please just fill out the rest of those. And that is it. Thanks, guys.